Okay, we're live. We're just getting started. If anybody's already joining, we're just getting started. I haven't even done my introduction yet. Quaithe, do you see it on your screen now?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I'm going to pull our list out because we have a list of things to talk about. Hello, Lady Firesnow, if you're joined us yet today.
Okay, I got my list out.
Got new. Here it is. Thursday outline. Can I get it to flip over? Will it turn over? Yeah, come on.
You want to join us? Want to join us? Get your chair. Come sit here next to me. I have Man with No Name that's going to...
The Man with No Name is here too.
Yeah.
You want to... Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll do a quick introduction then. Oh, look, it just notified me that we started.
How do I see her?
You have to go to the live stream. Just like you... Yeah, just like you did to when we were watching In Deep Geek. I can't get this thing to turn around. I think I'll adjust it a little bit.
Do you see her?
You know what I noticed? I forgot I should take it out of the cover so people can hear you better. Forgot about that.
Are you wearing pink?
I'm wearing pink.
I see you.
Do you see me? I just scratched my head. Hello, I'm Lady Firesnow, and thank you so much for joining us today. I have Quaithe Theories here with me. Quaithe, you want to say hello?
Hello.
And the Man with No Name is here too.
He was here.
He was. Did he take off? I'm sure
Yeah, he goes.
Well,
He's
here
here, he goes.
He comes and he goes.
Yep, just call him Ghost.
I'm gonna pull up the live chat so I can see it. Do you see any? Is there anybody in the live chat yet?
I don't see anybody.
Okay, that's all right. They'll come around eventually.
Okay, let's see here.
So we've got a list of things to talk about today, and mostly what we're doing is we're going to do an analysis of episode 2. And then we're going to do a live stream again on Sunday, and we will start 1 hour before the episode airs. And then we will wait till after the episode, a good 30 minutes, so that we can kind of collect our thoughts quickly. And then we'll start streaming again about 30 minutes after episode 3. So if you're watching this at a later time and you didn't get to see us live and you want to be able to be in the chat or see us live, we hope that you can make it to one of our future live streams. But we thank you so much, those of you who do join us today. We thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to get started. So, Quaithe, do you want me to just start off with the first thing on the list?
Yeah. Let's episode 2. Wow.
Episode 2.
Yes.
I don't see. Oh, that's in history. Maybe I should go to my videos. How come I can't see it? I'm trying to get to the. Oh, there it is, live.
Yep. Yes. That was
Oh, I'm gonna turn the volume down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I got it now. Let me know how does
episode 2. I was excited about it. I mean, I so far I am not disappointed. How about you?
I am not disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed. I think episode 1 was shocking, right?
Yes.
It was very shocking. I did not expect so much to happen in the first episode. I felt like at the end of episode 1 in season 7, I felt like that's it. You know, like I was disappointed. Like I wanted more. And I know, you know, but in this episode, when it was over, I remember I felt like on overload. It was like, what the hell just happened?
There was a lot to take in. There was a lot.
I knew that we went back and we watched season 1 because season 1, episode 1 emulated this season, episode 1. Okay, I did a whole video on that of the emulation of the two episodes. So I went back and I thought, well, if they're going to emulate again, they're going to pull from episode 2 and 3. So I watched episode 2 and 3 and even 4 to try to gather some information to see what I was going to see. And what I saw was a ton of drama, a ton of talking and drama, and everything related to Jamie throwing Bran out the window.
Yeah.
And right. And that's kind of what happened in episode 2, right? Very drama. And I kind of said that I should expect the next episode to be lots of drama and lots of talking and lots of,
everybody facing their demons.
Yep. Because everybody knows that death is coming.
Yep. So they're like making amends, cleansing themselves, and
doing
what they need to do.
Yes.
It was really good.
It was good. I was very pleased. We got some extra reunions. We got the Theon and Sansa. They hadn't seen each other in 2 seasons. Ed from The Wall and Jon. They hadn't seen each other in 2 seasons. And then the biggest one, of course, was Bran and Jamie, who, hadn't seen each other in the entire series.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Since the very end of episode 1 in season 1. So those were 3 reunions. I noticed that we still hadn't had a real serious Hound and Sansa reunion.
No.
We haven't really gotten that. Some people think that they may end up together. There's some people out there that think that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because if you look at it, he always did favor her. He's the one that saved her from being raped.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
What did he call her? Little dove, little sparrow?
Little dove. He called her little dove because that's what the queen called her.
Yeah.
Little bird or little dove, something like that, right?
Yeah, he was very, very tender with her.
He was.
As he is with Arya too, in his own way.
He is.
Yeah,
I noticed.
He has a soft spot in his heart for the Stark kids, I should say.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's definitely developed that anyway. He does say that to her, right? On the bridge. Yeah. He says that to her, right?
Yeah. So you're right. There was all reunions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think, and we've talked about this before, I think they're doing that on purpose. I have my own theories of why people are teamed up and why they're teamed up the way they are.
I'd like to start this live stream. I know we were supposed to go down this list, but Quaithe, I think I want you to put it out there on the table right now, because you have a crazy theory that I thought was crazy when you first said it. But as we go through this outline, it keeps pointing back to your theory. I have to say it does. So why don't you tell everybody about your Arya and Hound theory?
Okay, let's start from the beginning of where I got it from in the first place, which is the story about the kiss of death.
The kiss of life.
Kiss of life, I'm sorry. The kiss of life, and where it originated from and where it started from. If you know the history about it, after the Red Wedding, when Lady Stark gets her throat cut,
in the Red Wedding?
She gets saved by the priest. I can't think of his name.
It's he gets saved by Beric Dondarrion, who is the guy with the patch that's been killed, that's died 7 times and come back.
Yes, and he gives her the kiss of life.
Mm-hmm.
She then wakes up and goes off and gets revenge.
Right.
So they don't have time for that whole story, but they are putting these characters together with Arya. If you go back and listen to it when they're at the fire in the cave and he's talking to the Hound and telling him, and the priest is there, Arya's there the whole time. They're putting these people together for a reason. I think that Arya is going to get that kiss that Lady Stark got in the books. I believe she's going to die. She's going to get it. I believe the Hound is going to end up being her priest.
I mean, go ahead. I mean, we're going to, as we go through this outline, we're going to see how it keeps pointing back to that. And it
really does, yeah.
And I haven't seen anybody yet to come up with this theory. I think you are the only person that I have ever seen come up with this theory. And I'm pretty good at keeping up with YouTubers, but I haven't been keeping up with all the live streams lately. in the last week or two. So if anybody out there has heard that theory, then please let us know. But I think I saw something in season 1, episode 2 at the end. Arya she's playing with the dancing master and she gets stabbed or something. And it was
something like that.
When I saw that part, my eyes started like opening up really wide. I was like, oh my gosh, this is supporting Quaithe's theory.
You said it when you were saying the reunions, they pairing everybody up. They're pairing them up on their strong person, on their, and even throughout the whole episode too, they're all sitting with their group. And that group is their protectors. Those are the ones that are going to need each other. They formed that bond. It did not surprise me that Arya ended up sitting up there with Hound and having some wine with him.
Yeah.
It did not surprise me when, oh my God, my mind's going blank on his name, that came and joined them.
Beric,
when he came to join them. It didn't surprise me. I knew when they showed the feet and the legs walking, I knew exactly who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they're doing. And I know I'm jumping ahead. I know I am jumping ahead. But guys, when you see the preview and Arya's running, you can see the 2 people who are coming to her aid. Okay, we'll talk about that on Sunday. I'm sorry, I did jump a little bit ahead, but
that's okay. I want to put your theory out there. So the theory is, Quaithe's theory is that Arya is going to get killed in the battle.
Yes.
And when she dies, I don't think that they're going to bring her back in the same episode. I think they're going to kill off a bunch of people, and then they're going to wait to bring somebody or 2 back. And that's good. I think it's going to happen either in episode 4 or episode 5, right? It's going to happen sometime. I think it had to be in 4 because there's supposed to be another battle in 5. So the theory is that Beric will give her the kiss of life while the Hound prays for the first time, just like Thoros did for Beric, because he didn't believe in all that, even though he was a priest. And when his friend died, it was the first time he just went and said the words, and he brought Beric back to life unexpectedly, right? He just said it because he was his friend. And that's your theory, is that Arya will die, the Hound will start praying, Beric will give her the kiss, and she will come back to life, and it will be Arya that gets the kiss of life.
Yes.
So
to complete her list. Don't forget the list. And they gave us a little wink of the eye in that season. This next episode 2, they reminded us about the list, and that was very important. Mm-hmm. Even though it was a little quick, we have to remember. Yeah. She has no name, but she does have a list.
She has no name, but she has a list. Okay, so let's start on our outline. And basically, again, what we're doing is we are going over episode 2 and looking at analysis of episode 2. So first thing is the trial, and we talked about character reactions at the trial. We call the opening scene, we've got Jamie there contemplating whether they're going to let him live or not, is like his trial, if you will.
Yeah, his trial.
So we noticed that my first thing I have on my note is Jamie doesn't apologize. He stands for his family, and he repeats Brienne's words, right?
Yes.
That this is not about family. This is not about titles or, this is about survival, life and death.
Life and death.
And Brienne defends him. She stands up for him.
Yes.
Which
not before Brienne reminded him of what he said about family.
Yeah. Well, which is what he said when he pushed him out the window, right?
Yeah.
The things we do for love.
Yeah. And there was a long pause, guys. I don't know if y'all noticed that. He was waiting for Bran to say something. There was a long pause.
Yeah. His eyes got really big, like, oh my gosh, are you going to rat me out?
Yeah. And, you had mentioned that we were both waiting for episode 2 to start out with Bran confronting Jamie because he froze his butt off for 24 hours or whatever outside. And for some reason that didn't happen. It's like they changed their mind. And it ended up being by the tree, Which I still like that kind of little reunion they had there.
Yeah, I did like I did like their moment under the tree. I did,
Yeah.
but I
think
agree.
they changed their mind.
Yeah, how could they change their mind? They had a year and a half to figure that shit out. But it just seems to me like they wanted the drama at the end of episode 1 to mirror the way, that was the way episode 1, season 1 ended, was him pushing him out the window. And I think they wanted that dramatic reaction of Jamie arriving, and the first person he sees is Bran, and Bran is sitting there. It's very likely that he just turned and walked away like, oh my God, I can't face this guy right now. I just got here.
Sure.
That's very possible. But I was expecting that. I was expecting it to start out with them talking and Bran going, I know why you did what you did, which he did do, which he did say, and I'm not mad at you. I am who I am. But I thought he was going to say, don't tell anybody.
Me too.
I thought he was going to say that,
I really did.
But I forget they're men.
Yeah. So that was an interesting trial that he had that long pause and did not say nothing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he sat there taking it, and finally, Jamie started defending himself and telling Sansa, I'll do it again. I was protecting my family, and you're right. Then Bree comes up and saves him. She vouches for him. That was very interesting in seeing Sansa's, honoring that because she respects her, but
so
also
much.
Seeing Dany's reaction. What did you think about Dany's reaction?
I think this goes back to that whole Sam thing. It's like no matter how much you know your family's crazy, you're still going to defend them.
Yeah. And,
it's hard to swallow. Your father's murderer has walked in the door and thinks he's going to get away with that shit. And, right. Dany is like, worship me or die at this point. She's gotten onto this kick of holier than thou. And so, I think it was expected. What got me was I always thought it was going to be Tyrion that was going to get everybody to, come around. But I think that was too much of the obvious thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that I should have thought of Brienne. I mean, hello,
Yeah.
I should have thought it, and I should have seen that coming because Tyrion keeps fucking up. And when he, when Jamie shows up and says Cersei's not coming, that just made Tyrion look even worse.
And he's so smart, and all this time he's been smart. He's been ahead of the game and everything. But hey, you have to remember, he's only human. He's going to make mistakes, but he owns up to them. He owns up to his mistakes, and he makes up for it later. He learns from them, just like Jorah reminded her about it.
Right.
Later on through the show. Yeah. So I mean, I think Dany's reaction to how Sansa and Jon were at the trial was very Dany-ish. She exudes and wants power. She has her little temper tantrums. She doesn't get her way. She shows it. And you made a point the other day. She's not used to this. She's not used to playing the game. You said something that she's a conqueror.
She's a conqueror. That's right. If you look through her boyfriend she had before Dario Naharis, he was like, "You're not going to sit on the throne." She's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You're a conqueror, Daenerys." So if you look at the history of her ruling, people don't talk back to Daenerys. People don't ask someone else for permission. She even told her first 2 advisors, "Don't ever question me again in front of people." She set that tone immediately from the beginning. So, I am the ruler. You follow me. If you're going to follow me, you can follow me. Now, see, in the beginning, she started out with, "Hey, if you want to leave, leave. If not, you can follow me." And that's
we
kind
also
of
have to remember her age too. And how she was raised, and the difference between how the Starks were raised and how she was raised, and there's a big difference on everything.
Yes.
And the lessons that Sansa's learned in life and what Dany has not learned yet. So it was interesting seeing those two go head and head. I liked it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really saw Sansa's demeanor and her face just changed drastically because she knew Brienne was telling the truth, because she remembers She remembers Littlefinger questioning her sword and her armor. Where'd she get that from? Looks like someone is on your side. It looks like, we can't trust you. Even the Hound pointed it out to her. So, Sansa knows that when she says he armed me, he clothed me and armed me. And that's how he found us. That's how I found you. That's how I saved you. You wouldn't be alive today. So her whole face changed. Was like, oh, like she was like, oh, like she didn't know that. So it was interesting, and I like to see Sansa come around and be like, you know what, Brienne, I trust you, and if you say, I believe you.
Yeah, I really liked that. That was good. And I like Dany's reaction, like, what the heck are people doing here? I'm the one that has the last word. I'm the one that's supposed to be doing this. But Dany's got to remember, she is in their house where this is what it's normal for them to be this way.
To talk, yeah, they're very outspoken. They're going to say what they think. And Sansa's not going to, she didn't hold back with Jon as the king. You think she's going to hold back with Dany?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so, I liked it. And then it gets to the end where everyone's judging. And, of course, Dany's in the corner, so she has to agree to save him also, which she didn't like. She turns her head, doesn't give eye contact, stands up, and everyone go ahead and leaves without her dismissing everybody.
Yeah, you mentioned that, how everybody just walked away and didn't. Sorry, someone's messaging me saying they can't find our live chat. So excuse me if I'm not paying 100% attention. I'm trying to send it to her so she can join in. She's sent me crying eyes, like I can't find it. So I'm sending it to her now. So, but yeah, you mentioned that. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and help her out. And yeah, I did. I was mentioning that she's not used to that. And then once again, Sansa's not 100% on board about Dany, so she's not going to ask for permission, no. And Jon's not ready to look at her in the eye, so he walked away as well, and she's like, what the heck, right? Showing a little bit of Dany's typical temper tantrum and how she is, which I like to see. I really think in this episode they're starting to change who she is and her character.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me, but this is how I view it. I think they're going to put Dany as now the new villain because the information that was exposed on this episode. And someone mentioned, is there going to be a Dance of Dragons? In order to have the Dance of Dragons, there has to be a conflict.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that would make
Dany is starting to show her true colors of who she really is and what she really wants. She's all about the power.
Yeah, I think that Jon doesn't really want the throne. We all know that. But if he feels like that the kingdoms are not in good hands, that she's being the wrong kind of queen, I could see him going, I don't think so. Of course, I've always been in the belief that Dany's going to become pregnant and he's going to marry her and then they're both going to die anyway. You know what I mean? So then it'll just be the baby that rules. But I've always kind of been with that theory. That's always kind of been my theory. That doesn't mean they won't have conflict. It just means that Jon will do his duty. They say you can find the answer to everything that's going to happen in season 1 episode and in season 1 period. But a lot is, in episode 1, okay? But season 1 alone, just go back and watch season 1. Jon says very clearly, it's not a life for a bastard. I mean, a bastard's not a life for a child. So he's not gonna, if she gets pregnant, okay, he's not having it. He's not gonna let his child be born a bastard. So, but that could have been a big bunch of hype trying to make us believe that she was going to be pregnant, even though they foreshadowed it so strongly. They could have just been trying to make us all believe it. You never know with Dan and Dave. They like to play jokes, That's their thing. They do. They really do. That all the actors will tell you that they love to play jokes on each other and on the cast. So you never know. They could have just done that just to say, screw you. You don't know what's going to happen.
that's good. I mean, I hope that they really surprise us all.
Mm-hmm.
They did it on episode 1. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened that we didn't know that was going to happen so soon.
Right.
John riding the dragons, and so yeah. I think I'm ready for that. Yeah, I was going to ask you. There was a comment in the trial that really, really set Danny off, and I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I did. He said Jamie talked about what Cersei has. Cersei's not coming to help. She's not bringing her army.
Mm-hmm.
And she has the Golden Company, and I just wanted to elaborate on the Golden Company and how big their soldiers are, because she knew it. She knew how big it was, and he said it will wipe us out.
Right.
That's what really made her upset.
Right.
So a little bit of history you can share with us.
Sure. I will be happy to. So, again, I'm not the most knowledgeable. I do have a friend that I was hoping she might be watching by now. I sent her the link to the live chat, and she is a book expert. And she might be able to correct me on some of these things. But from what I understand, that the Golden Company is made up of bastard Targaryens. They're from the Blackfyre house. Okay, that's the history of the Golden Company. There was the Dance of the Dragons that you spoke of earlier, which was fight of Targaryen against bastard Targaryen for the throne. Okay, when this one king had lots of children and he legitimized all his bastards, and so there became the black flag with the red dragon and the red flag with the black dragon, and that was the Blackfyre family. And when they were defeated, they were exiled. They went off to Essos, and they formed the Golden Company, who never breaks a contract. That's their thing. Where does their bond? They make a contract, no matter what. They always fulfill the contract, and that's their reputation, right? So, however,
interesting.
Right, go ahead.
That you're saying that. That's interesting that you're saying that the Golden Company were made of Targaryens.
Targaryens.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really big Easter egg. There's a little clue there.
Yes. So what could happen, right? Once they find out who they're fighting.
Who they're fighting against. I don't think they're going to really back Cersei up. What do you think? I think
a lot of people think that's what's going to happen. And I think it's how else are they going to defeat these people? How are they going to defeat them? They're a huge army. How are they going to defeat them?
Yeah, according to what Jamie said, and Danny was like, had nothing else to say. That's what pissed her off the most, So yeah, I think that's a really important little hint there, the Golden Company. And I'm glad I asked you about it, because I did not know too much of that history.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you say that kind of changes the whole game. No pun intended, but it really does,
Mm-hmm. Rod just commented. Thank you, Rod, for being here. He said he's watching from work, and he says that he
be home shortly. Okay.
He can't actually hear us. He always says he'll be home shortly. Yeah, he's going to join us. You can see it now, right? Right, Quaithe?
I can see. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Right.
Yeah.
And Dina messaged also. She's watching, or she's Ali. I think she uses the name Ali. Sorry if you didn't want me to say your name, sweetheart.
Oh, that's a nickname also. She's got several nicknames.
It's her middle name. That's her middle name. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her middle name. So it looks like we have a few people watching though.
Yeah, please comment about what we're saying and elaborate. Yeah, I think the Golden Company, that was important information. Knowing that now, that kind of changes the whole game, if you will. Yeah, and another thing about this episode is, did anybody find that it was a lot of Jamie?
Yes. That was the next big thing on our list. This was the Tyrion and Jamie show.
It really was. And you know what? It's kind of sad, because are we going to be saying goodbye to Jamie? As Bran said first.
Bye-bye, Jamie.
Goodbye, Jamie.
I always believed in the Valonqar theory. If you don't know the Valonqar theory, go check out my Cersei video on my channel, and it'll tell you all about that theory. And because they didn't use that part in the show that's in the books, I think that there's always been a debate of did they not use it because they didn't want to give away the ending, or did they not use it because they were going to change the ending? And so I credit Book Maniacs. I always credit her when I speak about it because she was the very first person that put out a video about her theory that, you know, Arya would take Jaime's face and then she would kill Cersei with Jaime's face. So I think that at this point, I mean, we're going to go through here and we're going to talk about all the times that this was foreshadowed, but there was a ton of foreshadow that Jaime's going to die in this next episode.
I agree. I really
It's hard to deny it. Seriously.
It really is hard to deny it.
Yes.
And guys, just because we're saying he's going to die doesn't mean he's not going to come back.
Right?
Yeah, because obviously people die all the time and come back.
We should do it. Oh, Elise says, no, it's okay. Oh, it's okay if I say her name. Okay. And she says, you should do a drinking trivia game. Game of thoroughness, like, you know, like ask questions, like, do you know? I was going to put questions on my table and I forgot on the day of the first episode, and I bet you I have them. We could do that. We could totally do that, you know. Had some really good questions too.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the name of blah blah blah, you know?
That's good.
I had some good questions. So maybe we'll play that game. Maybe we'll play that game.
Sure.
In the near future.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
Wine ready.
Right? Truth or dare. Okay, so Tyrion and Jaime show. I have my notes say Tyrion corrects Jaime about his queen. He tells him tells him that's your queen too, right?
And he's still singling himself out.
He's still
a little bit connected to his sister.
Yes, yes, he is. He's connected to her. And Tyrion talks to Jaime up on the battlement, and he was saying about how he would give him comfort to know that Cersei couldn't kill him, and that he would get ripped to shred by White Walkers, and maybe he'll go to King's Landing and kill Cersei and rip her apart too. I think that was I started to go, is that a foreshadow? What you know, like everything they say.
He's talking to himself about doing that, and everyone's thinking, oh, it's going to be Jaime with the hand and strangling her. How do we know it's going to be Jaime with the hand? What if it is going to be Tyrion? We don't know, but there is that prophecy. What was it said that the little brother, was going to kill his sister? So we don't know who that is. Is it Jaime? You did mention that Jaime was born second, even if he's a twin.
That's right. And so it really does still fulfill the Valonqar prophecy, even if Arya kills her, because she's still the younger sibling. Valonqar means younger sibling. It doesn't. I mean, the direct translation is younger brother, but the only reason it says brother is it's like what the Bible always says he, but the Bible really means he and she, right? So the Valyrian language is more gender neutral. Actually, I think Missandei explains that in season 7, episode 2. Okay, when Melisandre arrives and she says, "Me laquivio de lolares ame hago junto," which means the prince who is promised will bring the dawn. And then Melisandre says, "Well, it's the prince or princess because that word doesn't have a gender; it's gender neutral."
Right. I remember that.
So the Valonqar is also a gender neutral word, and it means younger brother or sister. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be Cersei's younger brother. So Arya is the younger sister.
So it could be Arya.
It could. And if Arya is going to get in there and get close to Cersei, how else is she going to do it but to use Jaime's face? So it's a great theory that Book Maniacs came up with.
Even though there was a little Easter egg about him becoming a White Walker, going over there. But that's probably, it could be just to throw us off, guys. Could be to throw us off. Like she said, the writers always try to play jokes and tricks on us.
When you get it working, you have to. What does she mean? Dina says when you get it working, you have to take a shot or a drink. What does that mean?
Oh God, I wouldn't be able to.
Like I have to drink when I'm on here too.
I don't know. This will be a whole different live stream. It would become a.
Lori's asking if I see her comment. I don't see your comment, Lori. I don't see your comment, Lori. If you're trying to comment, you have to, I think for you have to actually have your own channel. You can only watch the chat if you don't have your own channel. If you start your own channel, then you can actually comment as well. Sorry, I wanted to answer that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Tyrion and Jaime constantly getting together, talking. Most of the conversation was about death and dying, and then after
lots of death, right?
Lots of death.
Everybody's talking about they're gonna die, right?
And I think, like you said, they're trying to throw us off. They're trying to throw us off. I mean, either that or they're saying their goodbyes. But so Jaime meets up with Tyrion, and after that, Jaime then meets up with Bran.
It's the Jaime show, right? Jaime and Tyrion, so Jaime and Bran, Jaime and Brienne. It's like Jaime.
Jaime. So now Jaime's with Bran. I knew Bran wouldn't be angry. Oh yeah, when he said he's not angry at anybody.
Right. He's not angry. He's not angry at anybody. I think he's kind of like separated himself from Bran now. He's the three-eyed raven. He's been saying that. I'm not Bran anymore. I'm the three-eyed raven. So he doesn't really have Bran's feelings anymore.
True, but the writers are being contradictory with Bran. They're contradicting themselves with him. First he's a three-eyed raven, and then later on he becomes Bran again.
Right, I did notice that. Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines in there that they're giving Bran. I'm sorry, guys. I know y'all are trying to make it work, but some of it's not making sense. I could be overthinking it, but he says, you can't help us in this fight if we let them murder you first. Who talks like that? First.
If we let them murder you first.
First. What does that mean, murder you first?
I mean, I think that's another thing. This is one of the things we're talking about, pointing toward Jaime's going to die.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
How do you know there's an afterwards?
How do you know there's an afterwards?
For the world or for them, meaning for him.
For him.
Yeah.
For him. It's like he's needed in this battle. He's going to save somebody. And a lot of people believe that he will die. He said he wanted to die in the arms of a woman, the woman that he loved. And of course, at the time, this is when she had him captive, okay? Right when she took him captive, when she first started taking him back to King's Landing. And he plays the whole thing, and he plays like, pretends like he falls, you know. He does the whole drama thing over this specific phrase, you know, saying. I don't know if you've noticed that, Quaithe. But a lot of people think that he will actually die in Brienne's arms, because now he doesn't. Cersei love is a different kind of sickly kind of love, you know. But Brienne, he respects her and he loves her, not like I'm in amor kind of love, okay? More of like, I love you, I respect you kind of way. So if he died in her arms, it would be, you know, fulfilling that foreshadow. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I think Jaime is from the beginning of the show, with him being with Cersei and the way his temperament was, his disposition, and him trying to be like her. But I think underlying, he has a good heart, because he even told him, it's changed me just like it's changed you. Bran even made that comment that when he pushed him out the window, he apologized. You know, and he said, you were doing it for your family. So I think Jaime has a really kind heart. I think he means well. I think Brienne is one who found that out, knows the truth about him. So I think there's going to be something that Jaime's going to do. Maybe he's going to protect Bran. I think you had said it before, that he was going to protect Bran.
I always thought that he would be the protector of Bran because of what he did. But after episode 2, that's Theon. I mean, it's like the characters I thought were going to take that role. Like I thought Tyrion was going to defend Jaime and it'd be in Brienne. And I thought that Jaime would be protecting Bran, but it's actually going to be Theon. Like, okay, that's...
But I think they're all going to be running everywhere, and everyone's going to be everywhere. I think there's going to be a point where they're going to be together, and eventually, yes, Jamie will have to protect Bran. I think they're getting to that, and I think
maybe he will. Maybe he's the one that says get Bran and take him away, and you know, Sansa and Brienne and take Bran, and they run off, and Jamie gets killed.
Jamie gets killed, but he knows he needs him. He's going to tell Jamie how he can stop from dying.
Okay, so tell him your theory. Listen, Quaithe Theories has a great theory about Jamie as well. If you have not seen our videos of Quaithe Theories, I think Lori's still having a hard time.
I think he's going to tell him what to do, and Jamie. The reason why Bran knows what to do is because it goes back to his conversation with his uncle Benjen. Yes.
You talk about that in that video. I was saying, if you haven't seen my videos, I have 2 videos of Quaithe Theories, and she explains this theory fully. But go ahead, explain your theory on Benjen and Jamie.
Yeah, so they have these good White Walkers, and when they have bad White Walkers, and they created a good White Walker with Uncle Benjen. He was there. He was helping Bran out. He helped him escape. They had a conversation. He says, "I got hit by the White Walkers," and he says, "Well, how are you alive right now?" He says, "You saw it yourself. The young kids, the tree kids, whatever he goes, put dragon glass in your heart." He said, "Yes."
Right, the children of the forest put the dragon glass in
the forest. Now, why when they put the dragon glass in his heart, did he not get blue eyes and go crazy like the other guy did?
Right.
I think it has to do with your heart. I think it has to do with your honor and what your true heart is.
What's in your heart? What's truly in you? Are you pure of heart? Are you good? Are you evil?
Do you want power and ruling like Danny does?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Anyway, so then so I think Jamie is pure. I think they're showing that. They're switching it over. As you can tell, they're switching his character over a lot. And that could be, and Bran's going to need him. I think this all could tie in with that conversation of Bran knowing this bit of information.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to tell him, "Hey, I'm going to need you first." You know, that's what the first means. He's going to die, but he's going to put the dragon, he's going to tell him, "Put the dragon glass in your heart. You have to do it in order to continue this fight." And he's going to become a good White Walker. And he'll go back and he'll go and kill his sister.
I haven't seen anybody else say that either. And that would also fulfill the Valonqar prophecy.
Valonqar's prophecy.
That he would go and kill Cersei as a good White Walker. And you had a theory. I know you have another theory about Cersei. We're not really on that for this live stream, but if you want to check out her theories about Cersei as well, that is related to that, you can go check out Quaithe Theories videos. We have a couple of them on my channel, so you can check them out. So that's our Jamie. That's our Jamie stuff, right? Of what might happen in the future, and with a little bit of foreshadowing we're seeing with Jamie and Jamie's death. I mean, several things we saw, and we're going to continue to see that as we move down our list. We're going to continue to talk about that as well. Do we want to go into Jamie and Brienne, or do you want to talk about Bronn before we do that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, LFS. What do you think do you think Bronn's going to make it? You think he's going to show up on time before it? I think he's just, all of a sudden they're going to go, director's going to say, "Okay, go ahead, run in."
It's possible, because, he's coming from the south, and they're coming from the north. Yeah. Now, whether they're going to come and try to surround the castle, I mean, that's what they did when they were on the island, around the little lake, when they were north of the wall. They came and they surrounded them. So they could possibly do that with Winterfell, but
I think he could possibly come in, because there was a little Easter egg, guys. If you pay attention to a lot of the conversation, one of the most important ones also was Sansa at the table with the Lord of the Vale.
Yes. When Dany was walking in to have the one-on-one conversation with her, Sansa was sitting at the table talking to the Lord of the Vale. I'm sorry, I forget his name. But what did do you remember what she said?
They were talking about a little bit of the war strategy, like what they were going to do. And he says something about, "We're going to close the gates and this and that. We're going to put them in here." And she says, "No, leave the gates open, because more people are coming in."
Right. More people could still, we leave them open as long as possible because people could come in. I could also see Braun arriving and not announcing it to anyone, and he just happens to be there already.
Yeah, it could be a rush of people that are walking in and the horn blows and it's madness. People are running and he's part of that crowd.
Part of that crowd, and we don't see him until after, because in the preview, if you slow it down, there is a preview of the actual battle, and it's the one where Jamie is in it, and it sounds like he says, Braun! That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's very possible that it's Braun.
Very possible. I like his. Did you see Rod's comment?
I didn't actually. I wanted to read. Lori can't comment on the chat, and so she's been.
So what did Lori have to say?
She's been messaging me, and she wanted to go back to the Golden Company. She wanted to answer a question.
Oh, good.
Remember, I told you she's the one that knows all about the books, and she has a. She's actually on a book only type of like a chat thing where they talk only about. So she is really knows about the books. You're gonna love to get. I hope you get to meet her, Quaithe. She says, back to the Golden Company, my group is discussing the possibility that the Night King is headed to King's Landing on Viserion, since he's not seen in the episode 3 preview. Right, that he might actually not be there. He may actually be going to King's Landing. And if he does, she says the Golden Company may soon become part of the Army of the Dead.
Oh, don't break my heart.
Yes. Yes. I have heard a little bit about that as well. And it is a very good theory. And Lori, thanks for commenting, even though you're not able to be in the chat. I appreciate you, filling us in, because we want to make sure that we're,
Yeah, I really liked ours.
All right. So what did Rod say?
I love these twists, though. I love these twists. I'm like, because it makes you rethink things.
It does. It does. When people bring up other things, it's like, oh my God. And especially they know about the books, right? So when you really, I know a lot about the books, but I have never read the books cover to cover, So really knowing all those details is very helpful, I think, to predicting what could happen. So, So Rod says, in Winterfell, they could escape through the tunnels in the crypts or fly out on the dragons, assuming the dragons live. I really think the dragons, I really don't expect the dragons to die. They're going to both have 2 riders this time. There's no reason. That's the whole reason they did that. So I'm not expecting to see the dragons die yet. Okay? I'm not saying they won't, but I'm not seeing it yet.
I don't think so either. And I think if we go back, I can't remember what episode it was, where the other red woman comes in and she says, the Lord of Light brought the dragons to life. They did that for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're part of that. They're very part of a very important role.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the dragons have a personality.
Yes.
I wonder if the dragons are going to be coming to the fire, and all of a sudden one's going to step out and be like the Lord of Light, and finally revealing itself to us all along. That's who it's been. I don't know. Just I'm thinking like outside of the box, just kind of making it some interesting endings here.
I do.
What the dragons can do.
I do agree with Rod, though. I do think we may see them escaping through the tunnels of Winterfell. I mean, I think it's very possible. They're supposed to be the history of Bran the Builder. The Bran the Builder when he built Winterfell. Okay, he was the first Stark, right? The first of the what is it? The Age of Heroes, right? He's the first Stark, and I think he's not the first one, but anyway, Bran the Builder was of that time period. He helped build the wall, which had magic. Okay, he helped build. I think it was Storm's End. Storm's End that was was also built with magic. And then he built the perimeter walls of Winterfell, as well as the crypts. He actually didn't build all the inner towers and everything. And they are supposed to have. A lot of people believe that there's magic there. There's some kind of magic there, right? And that's what's going to protect them being in Winterfell, That's why Stark must always be in Winterfell.
Yeah.
It has something to do with that, right?
I think they're showing the crypts a lot. I really hope they do something really cool with those crypts. And
right.
I do see Arya running for her life in those crypts, so.
Yeah, it's scary. That's a scary.
So that'll be interesting to see.
So.
Yeah, I do think the dragons are going to live.
I think through this battle, I do think they'll live. I'll be very disappointed if one of them dies already. I think that'll be exciting.
2 of them were stuck in the cave, and there's for a long, long time. They really didn't have anything to do but make other little baby dragon eggs. You never know.
And dragons are they can change their sex.
They can change their gender. Yeah.
They can change their sex. So you are absolutely right. And that is one of my big predictions in my predictions video that I did right before season 1, episode 1 dropped. Episode 1 of the season 8 dropped. I did a predictions video, and in there, one of my biggest predictions is that I expect to see dragon eggs at the end. If the dragons die, they may die, but I expect that we're going to see some dragon eggs appear at the end of the series. And you're right. Those two were down there stuck for a long, long time.
Yeah.
They could have made a baby. They could have made a baby.
Nice,
so,
nice. I like that, Rod Emmett. That was good.
Yeah, it was. That was good.
Talking
Yeah.
About the dragons.
So Pod.
Good old Pod.
Pod is fighting, man. He's like doing it.
He was fighting with one arm.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks older and more mature too in this season, and I think I was a little bit nervous that they gave us so much Pod between Pod fighting, showing him sparring, Pod just with the other characters right in the circle, and then he sang. But Rod was really quick to say that the singer doesn't die. So I hope he's right.
I totally agree. Being a Lord of the Rings fan, yes, you're right.
Singer doesn't die.
Doesn't die.
So I hope he's right. I hope we don't lose Pod, but he is a character that we could lose easily. Look, guys, we're going to lose a lot of characters. You got to get over it. We're going to lose them. We got to start naming them. Who's going to die?
Yeah. I don't think Pod will be one. I did see a little bit of relationship between him and Brienne. I don't know what you want to call it. He looks at her for a reassurance of how he's doing when he's fighting. She smiles at him. She hardly ever smiles, but she smiles at him. And then when she's going to get knighted, she looks at him for approval.
She does.
Should she do it? So there's a little. They got a connection there, them two.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so I don't know. There's something there. Hopefully, we'll see more of it, and he won't die. Yeah.
I hope not. I don't want anybody to die, though.
Yeah.
I want everybody to live.
I don't care if they get wounded. They can get their hands cut off or
I think it was Kit Harington. He's really good at not giving any information on any of his interviews. I think it was on not Jimmy Kimmel, but the other Jimmy Fallon. He was on Jimmy Fallon, I think. And Jimmy Fallon was like, so what can you tell us? And he was like, everybody lives. Everybody lives. No, we're supposed to lose half of our beloved characters in this episode. We are. We're supposed to lose half, and that's about 7. I'm predicting we're gonna lose 7. 7 characters.
Yeah, but I'm okay with all of it as long as they give them like a really good
ending. Yeah.
Fight scene, honorable death.
So we've said Jamie. We've said Jorah. I think, am I jumping ahead? Did we ever talk about Jorah yet? We haven't.
We haven't got to Jorah, but we're going to get to him. Jamie and Brienne's conversation, they respect each other, and he's sincere. Her being knighted. I really loved that part. That was just, that was my cry spot in the show. That was huge. I
cried. That one really got me.
Women power. I mean, it's all about that, and I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. The first one to say it was the wildling. What's his name?
Tormund?
Yes. What? She's not a knight?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how dare y'all?
Right? Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Big girl.
Yeah, because the wildlings weren't like that. They didn't discriminate men from women like that. They didn't. It's like, what do you mean? Just because she's a woman? Look at her, You'll see I'm actually working on my recap video for episode 2. It takes me a while to make them because I do a lot of voiceover and overlay of voice and video. Good. Right. So since I do that, takes some time, and I did some really good, picture on picture showing you all the things that Brienne has done to earn that.
Yes, very much so. She has. She really sat there in that snow waiting for Sansa light that candle.
Yeah.
No matter what. She was sticking to her word the vow that she made to her mom.
Yep.
And even through all of that, she still was able to fight. She still was able to do what she said she was out to do. Yeah. She's a true knight, and I hope they keep her. I know we're going to lose some people, but I hope maybe this is their way of passing the torch down since Jamie's not going to make it or whatever.
I agree with that. I think that definitely, that's what I think. I think Jamie is passing the torch down to Brienne, and someone's gotta write his good deeds, and only the Lord Commander, or what's it? I think not the Lord Commander. I'm sorry, the king, the head of the Knights King of the Kingsguard, can write in that book. I forget the name of the book, but it's the book that that they write all of the deeds of the Kingsguard, right?
Yeah.
And so she becomes a knight, or maybe it's all the knights. I'm not sure if it's. I think it's all the knights actually, because there's lots of knights in there in the history. And so, and his doesn't have very much good things to say. And Brienne would be the one that she needed to be knighted. She needed, and I was one of my most favorite moments.
Me too. It was very tender. It was good. It started out with them joking, and it all of a sudden turned serious, and everybody was like, I love the reactions. I love the acting. They were like, what? Is this really happening?
Right.
And I like the way Jamie approached it. Like, I'll prove it. Like, no big deal. I'll prove it.
Mm-hmm. I think he realized in the moment too that she deserved that.
Absolutely.
She deserved it.
Totally respects her. It was her that really pulled at his heartstrings and turned him around.
It was.
And if anybody have not seen those episodes, you need to go back and watch those. I mean, they did really good with that and turning his character around. Because from what I hear, as you said, that he's got a bad character in the books.
He does. In the books, from what I hear, Jamie is a horrible person in the books. He's much worse. Like that whole him raping Cersei in front of, I think it was Joffrey's body. That was really how he was.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I like it. I like which direction they're going with this.
The Book of Brothers. Thank you, Lori. It's called the Book of Brothers. She's telling me. The Book of Brothers.
I was waiting for her to chime in.
Yeah, she did. She sure did. She's telling me. She said something else too, but yeah, I missed it. It was too quick. Let me go back and see if she said something else.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like it. Guys, if y'all have anything else to say about Brienne being knighted, let us know. I mean, I'd like to hear what y'all think about that. Yeah, and we talked about Pod showing he could fight.
She says that she said that she was the least knowledgeable of all the people in her group, but I'm look, she's already been able to answer our questions, so I don't see how we could be in better hands, really, Lori. Thank you. So go ahead. Cool. And so you were saying, if anybody else wants to chime in and let us know if you have any questions around that, right?
Yeah.
So
the thing that broke my heart in this episode, guys, I know some of y'all were like, probably, oh, that's nice, it's sweet, but what I could not watch was Arya
and Gendry.
I had a hard time. I guess it's because 10 years of watching her grow up in the show. I had a hard time watching that.
I didn't have a hard time watching it.
I know.
I didn't have a hard time watching that.
And then, I mean, it was sweet. It was really sweet. And I like her approach. I like his acting. I think everything was spot on. But I did have a hard time with it. And let's talk about the little scene. It wasn't long, but they're showing everybody's reaction, and she's laying there with her eyes open, and he's asleep.
Typical man and woman behavior, don't you think?
Yeah, but I mean, she looks really scared, guys. She looks scared. She really does. And this is something we've never seen from Arya. She's always been so sure of herself,
Yeah, I would agree. She looked very concerned and scared. She could not sleep.
Yeah,
because she's never faced something she couldn't defeat, I think.
Yes.
And now
so that's kind of a little nod that something might happen to her too.
And then we did say we're going to see that as we go through this and talk about Arya and talk about how theory. Some people didn't see that up front early because you said that theory early on in this video. So you want to go ahead and repeat your Arya Hound theory for those who missed it?
Yeah, and Lori might be able to shed some light on this. I think in the books there's some history there that Lady Stark was the one that got the kiss of life after the Red Wedding, and went on her vengeance tantrum, and pretty much was a badass warrior after that, killing everybody, getting vengeance, which is what they're doing with Arya right now with the list. But so I think she might take that place of that character in the book, that part. I think she's going to get the kiss of life from, oh my God, there are going blank with names. From Beric. I think she's going to get that. I think Beric's going to have to get him. He's going to be pretty bad off, and he's going to have to pass on the torch to say, and she's going to get it. And she's going to need a priest. And who has always been her protector? The Hound. So I think he's going to end up being her protector and being her priest, because he sincerely loves the Stark girls, and he's always protected Arya. He mentioned that when they were having wine up there. Mm-hmm. He said, "I fought for you.
I fought for you. I did it for you." And she kind of looked at him like, "You did?" Like she wasn't really sure. She always
so kind of put it together. But that's what I'm thinking, guys. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, if that theory's too far-fetched or not. But I think it would be awesome.
I haven't heard anybody else put this theory out there that she's gonna. A lot of people said what she was gonna kind of go on the Lady Stoneheart. Lori, thank you for that. The Lady Stoneheart killing spree, which she kind of has taken that role. But we're actually saying that Arya might actually die in this next episode, and don't expect anybody to be brought back in this episode. They're gonna leave us hanging.
I know you said that earlier, but in this instance, when you get the kiss of life, the priest has to pray for you. Immediately. They showed that with
but just because they do it doesn't mean they're going to show it to us right away.
No, they're not going to show it to us.
They don't have to show. They could wait till next episode and then it start right back right there right after she dies.
Right. Just like John taking his breath after being gone for 3 days.
Right. I mean, he still came back to life 3 days later. So
that's the guys.
Bible.
Remember, John's on borrowed time. This is all little information we're forgetting.
Right.
We don't know what his quest is, and if his life is going to end anytime soon for him. The Lord of Light or whatever gave him. So that's all interesting information.
I think at first, Quaithe, when you brought this theory that Arya was going to get the kiss of life and that Hound was going to be the one that was going to pray over her like Thoris did Beric, I thought it was a little bit crazy. But as we've been re-evaluating this episode, I see a lot of foreshadow for that. Even sex alone.
And we'll talk about that Sunday. If you look at the previews, guys, it's very interesting.
It's very interesting because in the previews you see her running. She's scared out of her mind, like she's running for her life. And who's in the tunnels also? Yeah. Beric and the Hound.
They're right after her.
They're right there.
Yep.
Find her. Yeah, it's. I see it. I can see that it could happen. And I like I said, if anybody let us know if someone else has come up with this theory, but I don't think anyone else has. I think this is an original Quaithe Theories theory that might actually happen.
I hope someone has somewhat of an idea like that so they can share with us. Yeah, we can chime in.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone out there that has a little bit of that in their head but doesn't want to say it. I mean, I'm not afraid to go off the grid on my thinking.
Let's put the tinfoil hats on.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. So
the next character that you and I really talked about was Gilly, guys.
Gilly is
pregnant.
Gilly's pregnant. She's either pregnant in the show or she's pregnant in real life because that girl
has to be real life because her face looks pregnant.
I mean, she had pregnancy face. She definitely had pregnancy face. So
it would be kind of cool if they did put it in the show.
It would be. It would be cool. It would to see her. They filmed for long enough. She could have delivered that baby, and then they could be holding the baby in the show. At the end of the series, right? It could happen.
Right,
yeah. You see, Lori, I said something. I'm gonna look at what she said. But yeah, Dob, you want to talk about Davos and the little girl in that
What
scene
was
with
that,
Gilly.
guys? What was that? That was like, it can't, there's no wasted time on this show. There's no wasted dialogue, nothing. Everything means something because they only have so much. Why would they put a young girl that looks like Shireen?
Yeah, why would they bring her in? I mean, it was just, was it just a wink? Maybe they were just.
We had a lot to say. I can't remember what we said. It was really interesting, though. Let me think.
Well, we had said, I
Is
think.
she a red woman? Is she?
Oh, you had said that. What if she's a red woman posing to be young?
Yeah, because they can go old. Can they go young?
I mean, she didn't change to old. She changed to younger, being Melisandre.
Oh yes, and she said, "I'll defend the Crips."
I'll defend the Crips.
I will defend the Crips then.
I mean, it's possible she could be a red woman in disguise.
She could be the Lord of Light. I mean, why would they do this? Bring this little girl in, you know?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden has almost the same characteristics, same marks, and Davos is like, I've just seen a ghost.
He kind of freaked out a little bit. You could tell.
Yeah.
Gilly had to come save him.
Yes, Gilly had to come save him.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something to that. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas.
Yeah, is there anything in the books, Lori, about that? Do you know anything about?
Yeah.
What's up with that? We don't know a lot about in the books and Shireen, and maybe there's some kind of like Easter egg with that. What? There's got to be something there. They're not gonna. I mean, I know they're gonna have some little winking here and there. Like they could have just been winking at Shireen. It's possible, okay?
It could be.
But there's just not enough.
Waste that time.
We don't have enough time right now. Come on.
Everything means something.
Everything's got to mean something. So. There's a meaning to everything.
Yeah,
so
even the stupid giant story of him suckling from the tit. Sorry, but if you see what he's drinking from, guys, he's drinking from a horn. So maybe that's what's a little Easter egg about the horn.
I do have a video on the mysterious horn and how Sam should have it because it was in the dragon glass north of the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Sam should have it. Mm-hmm.
We're asking if you know any Easter eggs about Shireen that might be contributed to why we saw Shireen in that scene, Lori. That's what we're asking. Shireen is at the wall and the book's still alive. So
okay.
So maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe they do that sometimes. They'll wink at the book readers. And we see it as a nothing scene, but the book readers will be like, "Oh, it's like Shireen and she's at Winterfell. It's kind of like where she is now, north of the wall in the books." You know what I mean? Could have been that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That could be.
That makes sense.
That's nice of them to do.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for that update. Yeah. So I forgot what we were just talking about before that.
We're talking about Gilly being pregnant and Davos, and then we still winked out saying, "I'll defend the Crips then."
Right.
So maybe that's a little wink in the eye for the Crips, and she's going to go defend the Crips, and maybe she will be. Red one, we don't know, but that'll be interesting. After that, our next notes that we have here is Dany showing her true colors.
Yes.
Her similarities of Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had talked about that earlier, how if there is going to be a Dance of Dragons, guys, there's got to be
conflict.
A yin and a yang. There's got to be something to argue about. Mm-hmm. And throughout the show, it does not look like she's going to bend the knee. I'm sorry. And say, "Oh, yeah, John, go ahead. I love you so much."
Yeah, that was her first. That was really disappointing. That her very first reaction is, that means you have a claim to the throne.
Oh, yeah, claim, whatever. Bitch, bend down. Sorry. But, yeah. I
mean, if the roles were reversed, John would be like, "Well, you're the heir." And there would be no question.
Yeah.
Lori's
He's already been it. He's already done it.
Man, Lori, I wish you could be in this chat. You got to figure out how to do a channel thing. So next time you can be in the chat, people can see your comments because you got some really great stuff to say. She says, I think the WWs. I think she means maybe the horn or something will raise the dead in the crypts, and that's what Arya is running from. All those people think they're safe.
Yes, I did think that. Yes, the Crips. I had a feeling they were going to come back, but I thought they were going to come back as defenders.
Defenders, not attackers. Because
Right.
from what I understand, and Lori, you can correct this.
Because the magical stuff. That's
the magical part, and there's a thing about the swords, how they lay their iron swords across their lap, and that might be why she's saying that, because it's supposed to be that sword is supposed to keep vengeful spirits from rising or whatever.
Rising, right.
And so it could go either way. There is a theory that it'll be like Lord of the Rings, where he goes in and he raises up their army from, the dead army that comes and helps them fight, right? Yeah. It could be like that happens in the Lord of the Rings. It could be that, or it could be what she's saying, that all these people think they're safe in the crypts, and all of a sudden they get raised up too and they start attacking them, which is really kind of scary, right?
It is very scary.
White Walkers, yes.
Little part that they put in there, I'll defend the crypt. So hopefully that'll be cool, that this little girl is something and can do something.
Right.
Honestly, right now we need all the help. I say we because I'm on the good side. I don't want evil to prevail. I don't know who good is, but in my head, good will prevail is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we all hoping that good will prevail, right?
Yeah, right. And I don't know who it is, which might not be Danny. It doesn't look like she's...
yeah, she's definitely going down the bad road. I'm really upset at her right now because, she's always been my favorite character. And so... But she's always kind of been, no reaving, roading, and raping, no slavery, follow me if you want or leave if you don't want to.
She's so hypocritical because she does all of that. She burns, she puts people on stakes and makes examples. She does all of that. It doesn't mean that she's doing it for the good, doesn't make it okay. And that's what Tyrion was always trying to tell her.
Right.
He's trying to tell her, you need to pull it back some. And Jon is now able to see a little bit of what Sam saw, the true colors of what she did. The big question he asked, would you do it?
Right. Would you have done that? Are you going to do that? You're not, because he knows Jon's not like that.
No.
He knows that.
And if Jon's really what they're saying he is, infatuated or lust or love with her, something's got to wake him up. Because like his sister said, men do stupid things for women. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I like seeing Dany. I like seeing her like this. I like her standing for what she believes in and wanting that power. And I like seeing Sansa put her in her place.
Mm-hmm.
With the conversation they had.
It looks like Rod made a comment.
Oh, what did he say?
He says, in Winterfell, they could escape through the tunnels in the crypts or fly out on the dragons, assuming the dragons live. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that the dragons do stay down in the crypts in the past, like in the books or something, and that there was supposedly might even be dragon eggs down there from the past. But I would think maybe when they're leaving the tunnels, they could. I mean, that could be possible. They could see dragon eggs or something. But the dragons could go down the crypts, I guess. I don't know how they'd get down there, though. How would they actually? I guess there's another way to get down there from and the outside. Ooh, I hope not. That would not be good. So, but
the crypts are very mysterious, and they're all about it, and there's all kinds of stuff about it. So, yeah, I would like to know what the books say about the crypts, so we can know more about what's going on and down there.
Yeah, maybe Lori can tell us some things about the books and the crypts, and we can come back to that when she. If she comments about it or she messages me about it, about what she knows about the crypts, and what we might see in this episode. Is it just going to be, they're hiding in the crypts and that's it? Or are we going to actually get something cool from the crypts? I want to see something cool happen. I mean, I'm really been very happy about all the scenes that are happening in the crypts. That's been nice. Okay. They've been leaving the crypts out a lot during the series, and it's been nice to see that, but it would be nice to see some kind of magical thing. She says Jon has a dream that is telling. I've heard about that dream where it's calling him. Let me see if her comment was longer than that, because sometimes it just shows me a small part. Jon has a dream that is telling the dead rise. Yeah. So, when I heard what that was in the books was that he has a dream and something's calling him down to the crypts, and he goes down there and then he hears voices and they tell him, you don't belong down here, or he says, I don't belong down here, And he says, but I feel like I still have to go, or something like that. And
Yeah. I remember that.
I'll give you the quote. She says she's going to give us the quote in a second. She's going to tell us what the quote is. So cool. That's so cool, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I love to have a good book reader that can really, like, help us out with some of this stuff. It's really good. It's really helpful to actually know what the books are too, because a lot of these theories come from the books. A lot of them do. A lot of that stuff comes from there. So
yeah,
we were kind of talking about Dani and talking a lot about how her ugliness really,
they're changing her character.
Really came out this whole episode. She was first of all, she was not happy that everybody's not just following along and just worshiping her, right? She was really not happy with that. She certainly did not have control of everything that was going on, even though she wanted to pretend like she was in control. And she showed her ugliness with
Sansa.
With Sansa, of course. Like they were
playing mean girls, being fake with each other. The big question came about.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about that? You know a lot about psychology, and maybe kind of tell us a little bit about your thoughts around the Sansa and Dani's conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I hope everybody else noticed this, but that was not sincere on either part. Sansa really had a little pause and was like, oh, I should have just thanked you from the beginning. She really wanted to say something to her. She really wanted it, but she held herself back, and she got fake. But both of them were fake. Mm-hmm. It was horrible until the big main question came about. What about the North?
What about the North?
That's the main thing.
Then it got serious.
At that point, Dani's true colors came out again. She picks her hands up. She looks up straight, and they got interrupted. Mm-hmm. Right? Which, just because they get interrupted doesn't mean that this conversation and this is over. They get interrupted, and they lead into a whole big point to prove to Dani. Theon comes in. Dani's asking him all these questions, blah, blah, blah. Where are you? Why are you back was the main thing. He looks straight at Sansa and says, I want to fight for you. I want to, I'm asking if I can fight for you. And Sansa at that point was sincere because she really is connected. And that what she did with him, I was expecting her to do that with Jon, and she didn't. So I think there's something there, but that's a whole nother theory I have. Mm-hmm. So, but when that happened, Dani looked up like, what the heck is going on? Why am I being disrespected? Why are they asking? Why are they wanting to fight for her? She was not happy with any of it.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a double-edged sword there. It's like Dani got to see, she got to see Sansa be more humanized, real sincere. What a sincere Sansa looks like, and she also validated
the point of people respecting the people from the North, and she's an outsider.
And and that people love Sansa. They respect Sansa, and they're going to follow Sansa, and they're not going to be loyal to you unless you earn it, which is what, they were saying last episode, right? Davos was trying to tell them, you don't understand that people in the North are not just going to follow you because you came to save them.
No. And Sansa called her out. She says, oh, Tyrion's a nice guy. He goes, yeah, but, he was wrong. He trusted his sister, and she said, so did you. Right.
So did you.
And this is Sansa learning from all the people she's been around, Littlefinger and Cersei. Yep. These are very important stuff. This is her knowing her components, and Littlefinger told her in the first place, you've got to play the game in your head. You've got to think and know before what they're going to do before they do it. Mm-hmm. Everything. And this is something that Dani's advisor are not telling Dani. They need to step up, and they need to tell Dani everything about everyone so she can know. Because she's looking stupid right now.
Yeah.
She's up there showing her true Targaryen's coming out.
Yeah, like what's up with that? Why isn't she having a little powwow meeting with, Jorah and Tyrion and Varys, so they all know how
that's what the advisors are supposed to do.
Right.
What Littlefinger was doing.
Right,
as bad as he was doing it.
He was still playing the advisor role, and they're not playing the advisor role with her. It's like, is she just not listening? Well, she listened to Jorah She listened to Jorah. She would have never went in there and had that talk with.
Barely. I mean, he had to really put her over his knees and spank her. I
Yeah.
mean, really.
That's so funny how you put it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he was like, "You forgave me. What's wrong with you? You can't come in here like this." Jorah knows the North. Jorah is a Northern. He's a Northern man. He's from a Northern house.
Yeah.
So, Little Bear, that's in the North. So
courtesy is her armor. Somebody says courtesy is her armor.
I wasn't sure which. I saw that earlier from Garden Girl.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Courtesy is whose armor? Courtesy is Sansa's armor, or Dany's.
I think she's saying like what you were saying between Sansa and Dany. They were being courtesy, and that's their, their little. Yeah. That's what she means. That's what she means. Good comment. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Garden Girl.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, and I like that they're going to show, and this is the thing right now. Everyone's like, "Oh, Cersei said this," or "Cersei blew up people." Dany burned people.
Mm-hmm.
Cersei tortured people. So did Dany. They're showing the similarities of how these girls have both their evilness and both. It doesn't matter what their values are. It's the approach of how they're doing it. And Tyrion's always been trying to tell Dany that. And I like that they're changing her. She's going to get a little harsh. She's going to get a little ugly. And we're going to see what's going to happen between her and Jon. I like that.
Yeah.
Jon and Dany, possible Dance of Dragons. What do you guys think about that? Do y'all think that we're on to something?
Yeah, my brother-in-law was all about that. He was like, I see it coming. Dance of Dragons, it's coming. It's coming. Maybe people don't know what Dance of Dragons is. So, Lori, correct.
Tell them.
Right, Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, the Dance of Dragons is about there was a king, Targaryen. He legitimized a bunch of bastards, and before he died, his first heir was a female, but then he had a male also that was a bastard. And after he died, they started battling for who was going to take the throne, because at that time the Targaryens had quite a big family, and so that's the Dance of Dragons, where they were actually fighting. Shireen talks about it earlier in the series, so they definitely put some Easter eggs out there in the series about the Dance of Dragons. If you go back, she mentions it at least 2 or 3 times in the series. And so, from what I understand, though, Lori, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that ends with them dying and their children end up getting married, which would support Jenna Snow's theory. I did on my second Tyrion video. I have 3 Tyrion videos, and it's my second Tyrion video is all about Jenna Snow's theory that Cersei's baby and Jon and Dany's baby will marry, and that will be how they will end the Game of Thrones, because the 2 heirs will become, which is what they typically, which has happened, which is what I believe was the outcome of Dance of Dragons.
Yeah.
So it would be poetic.
Somebody's comment: when Dany says the dead are already here, she sounds angry. Do you think she's talking about Jon's? What is that? I can't see that.
Do you think she's talking about Jon's parentage?
Yeah. We talked about that, you and I. And that's going to be Sunday when we're going to talk about the preview and what's to come.
Right. So we're kind of touching a little bit on predictions today, but we're going to really get into predictions for next episode. And predictions in general. This is our first live stream on a Thursday, so thank you all for those who are watching and joining us tonight. We will be live streaming again 1 hour before the episode, so no matter what time zone you're in, 1 hour before the episode airs, which is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Texas. Then we will come on again about 30 minutes after the episode is finished airing. We will come back and we will live stream again, and we will probably be on for at least an hour, if not 2, after the episode. So if you are catching this non-live and you want to join in with the chat or something, see us live next time, ask some questions. We're really good about answering questions. Franny Doodle, is it Franny Doodle? Please tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Franny Doodle gal? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for asking your question. And what did she
And
say?
you,
Did we answer her question?
And yeah, we're going to talk about this more on Sunday, but you did say something, LFS, you did say something earlier that John's going to go up to her saying, I don't care about thee.
Yes. Yes. I saw that in the preview, right? They're up on the mountain, and she's standing there looking over Winterfell. He walks up to her, right? It's a very short clip in the preview, okay? And then later you see them facing each other, and Dany says, but the dead are already here. The dead are already here. I could see him coming up and saying, look, I don't care about the throne. And she's like, this is not the time. The dead are already here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like she's not listening. Yeah. It's like when somebody gets angry, they're no longer listening. Right? I could see that.
She's angry. She's all about power. I'm telling you, I love how they're changing her character from pretty blonde girl with braids, and each braid means something.
Right.
She's ruthless. She wants what she wants because she said to John, claim. You have a claim. No, he doesn't have a claim. He is. This is it. There's no claim.
Yeah, there is no claim. He is the king, okay?
He is the king.
He is the king.
Point, we were sitting here going, yeah, bow down, bitch, but she didn't do it.
No.
She instead walked away, took a breath, and questioned everything.
Oh, yeah, and how funny Sam said she was going to be like that, too, right? Yeah, he was like, was she going to do that for you? Would she do that for her people?
No. John did it right away.
Right? Right away. He had no problem giving up the throne if he thought someone was worthy enough and was, had a good claim. So, we are on the Dany showing her true colors right now,
I like her showing her true colors because it's going to make the show interesting. And like you said, the writers are going to have some twists and turns on this. And there is something that they did that made the actors take a walk.
Yep.
And this could be it. They could be flipping everybody's character. Jamie being the nice guy protecting Bran. Dany, turning against John. This is all stuff that we didn't. Pod being the superhero.
Right?
Yeah.
Brienne becomes the big savior, right?
Big savior, yeah.
Jamie dies. I'm sorry, guys. We've been talking about who we think is going to die. We're gonna go over a death predictions list for sure on Sunday before the episode starts. But if we get to it today, before it gets too late, we may talk a little bit about that because I want to hear your predictions. I want to know what you think. Guys, we're going to lose some characters. Half of them got to go. Half of them out the door. Come on. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
So sad but exciting.
Yeah. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think is going to die? I've got a hand on Jorah and Jamie. Those are my two top ones, along with Grey Worm. Sorry, Big Kiss's death. Sex. We talked about Arya maybe being her dying, and then maybe she gets brought back with the kiss of life, and they had sex. I'm sorry. That's horror movie 101. If you have sex, you're done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's sex. You got sex or you get a big kiss, you're done. We were watching the 100.
Jason's
I was watching.
Coming to get you. Jason's coming to get you. Yeah.
I was watching the 100 with my daughter, and she's young, and she was like, "Oh, Lincoln," and I forget her name. They finally fell in love and they're kissing. I was like, "Oh, baby, they're kissing. He's about to die." And sure enough, he did. She was like, "How'd you know, Mama?"
Friday the 13th ruined that for us.
Yes.
They set that up. But yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Hopefully these writers, they do twists and turns, and that's what I like about these writers, that they do twist and turns, and they don't do what that's predictable. For instance, I did not see the Red Wedding coming. I did not. I mean, I was jumping out of my sofa when that part happened.
I did too. I didn't know about the books, and I didn't know anything about that at that time.
I'm glad I didn't, though, because I loved my reaction, and I loved that feeling.
I love to be able to have that. Yes. Before I started doing YouTubing, right, I watched everything the entire year from season 6 to season 7, and I completely educated myself. And in doing that, I knew every leak. And in coming into season 7, it wasn't as exciting for me.
Yeah.
And so
some of it ruins it for you. Yeah.
So I've heard a few of the leaks that are out there, for season 8, but not many. And I've tried really hard to stay away from them this time because I want to be surprised. I want the last season to surprise me, make me wrong, You know, I want to see what's out there. I want to see what they got to shock us, right? So
yeah, I do too. Okay, guys, this next topic we're going to talk about, I really want to see you guys chatting and getting your input on this. It's the week, I call it LFS, and I call it Nights at the Round Table.
yes. Let's talk about the Knights of the Round Table. So in Quaithe Theories videos, if you haven't seen them, Quaithe has a couple of videos that I did. She's narrating most of the video herself. And you hear Anal Nathrak in there too. He's another one of our good friends. And she talks about it's going to be Knights of the Round Table. They're all going to be standing around. They're all going to be trying to figure out what to do. So when we saw that happen in this episode, we now call that scene the Knights of the Round Table. So
yeah.
Go ahead. You want to talk about it?
Yes, Knights at the Round Table. So you look at everybody who's around there. Okay, Bran is sitting there in the corner, and I know he's the third eye raven or three-eye raven. I know he's that, but in this instance, he seems more like Bran. He didn't have that much information to share.
Yeah.
And he looked a little clueless, like, I think I'm not going to go down here. I'm going to be down here. And the answer that they gave him, the big answer everyone's been waiting for, why? It was so simplified. I really did not expect a simple answer like that.
I don't know. I feel like the show does that, though.
Because he wants an endless night. I really love that title. That's a really good title. He wants an endless night.
Yeah, that was a good one. He wants an endless night. I mean, but they've been saying that on the interviews too, though. That he has no real. He's just trying to defeat. He's just trying to kill everybody. I mean, that's his purpose. And I think there was an interview with the actor that plays the Night King, and he said that that all characters in the Game of Thrones have a good side and a bad side, just like we do as humans. Okay, if you think you're all good, come on, get off your high horse. We all have our bad side. Okay, and that's why we can relate to the Game of Thrones. That's why we love it. But the Night King is all bad. He does not have a good side. He confirmed that. So anybody who thinks that the Night King is really the good guy, sorry.
Yeah. And there was something that he said, that Bran said, that I was also confused, and maybe book readers can help us. It says here, Garden Girl. Maybe you can help us. Bran says the Night King has tried many times to kill me. Third Eye Ravens. He has many Third Eye Ravens. I didn't see that in any of the episodes. Maybe just once when he grabbed his arm. Can anybody elaborate on what he meant by that?
Yeah. I thought that too. He says he has tried many times to kill many three-eyed ravens.
Yeah.
Like, how many three-eyed ravens have there been?
I guess he's talking about the history.
How many long nights have there been?
Tried many times. He wants to endless light, erase the memories because death is forgetting.
Death is forgetting. That's what Sam says.
Does that go back to the first long night? That's our question.
Yeah, Lori says that we are ahead of the books. We do know we're ahead of the books, but I still feel like there's like if you you might have some
because they have to end this. They have to end Game of Thrones.
Right. So there has to be some Easter eggs from the books that might explain what is he talking about, right? What is he talking about? There's very little about the Night King, just like in the show, right? Very little about the Night King. They're going to say, guys, they're saving that for the prequel. If you guys don't know there's a prequel, I'm sure most of you who are watching this probably know there's a prequel. And it's going to air in 2020. And it's about the Age of Heroes and the First Long Night, right? So they're not going to give us a complete story on the sacrificing of the babies or the story of the Night King. They're only going to give us this much to end the story. And then they're going to save all of that history and all that stuff that we're not getting. They're going to put all of that in the prequel.
Okay, so Garden Girl answered our question.
She says?
Yeah, she said, this is the first we are hearing of it. It isn't in the books. I think Bran is not telling the whole story.
You said that. You and I were talking last night, and you said that. You said he's hiding something. You want to explain why?
Yeah. And when he's doing this, oh, wait, what was the whole point where he said the dragon fire, and he looks at...
No one's ever tried. They said...
And he looks at Dany and Jon. He
like...
looks in the direction like...
Are y'all going to say something? I can't. Go ahead.
He can't tell too much information. He can't say it because if he does, he might alter history by saying too much. I don't know. I can't figure him out. It's like he knows stuff, but he doesn't know stuff. It's like, okay, I shouldn't be in the crypts. I should be by a tree.
Right. Like.
And we'll get dragon fire. I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
You know,
like,
right?
Okay. Does not everybody remember North of the Wall that dragons were there with Dany? They're blowing fire all over the place. The Night King grabs his ice spear and he walks right through the dragon fire. I mean, can we not go back and see that? I mean, what's up with that? This plan is failure. Okay, we all know this is a plan of failure. Total failure.
In that instance, is Bran playing devil's
She
advocate?
thinks we're right. Garden Girl thinks we're right. She thinks you're right.
Is Bran playing devil's advocate? Is he setting everybody up?
You've been saying that he
would twist it and say Bran is the bad person.
He's the bad guy.
We don't know. You said it. Everyone's got good and bad. Is Bran setting everybody up? Why is he saying enough? Why is he telling his ability? Yes, Garden Girl said it. He's not telling us the whole story. Is he setting everybody up for failure?
Yeah, what is up with that?
What's going on with Bran?
Yeah, something's up with that. I mean, you've been saying it for quite some time that maybe Bran is evil. I will say I saw an interview with Isaac. That's the actor's name that plays Bran. He was on the show with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon loves Game of Thrones, so he has had a lot of characters. He has a lot of characters on his show. If you can go to YouTube and see all his shows, all of his clips, on his channel there. But he asks Isaac. He says, well, Bran is definitely on the side of the living. And he says, okay, so then he can't be the Night King because he wouldn't be on the side of the living. He can't be the Night King. And he said, well, who says the Night King is dead?
Oh, interesting.
That came from Isaac. And then he was like, HBO, help me. Like that was a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Right? We know the Night King's not dead, right? Because it's really not giving anything away. We saw them put the dragon glass in him when he was alive.
When he was alive, and Uncle Benjen was dying. He was half and half, and they stopped it. Yeah. Okay, So Garden Girl says, I think it's like chess, and he's trying to get a specific outcome. Yes, you're right. It is. He is trying to.
That's what she says. Yeah, that's what you keep saying.
Like he can't say too much because he'll alter history, but he's throwing it out there and saying, come on, guys, help me out here. One of the biggest things that LFS and I have been talking about is how come no one's talked about the symbols, the damn symbols?
Right.
Why isn't Bran telling them about symbols and what the symbols mean? Right. He has to know.
I mean, come on. They're all at the table. Beric is there. He said that the Night King's sending a signal with this spiral. And hello, the child mounted on the wall, just like the very first scene in the very first episode. He does a symbol on the ground that means earth, by the way, because I looked that crap up, with faces mounted around it. Does it not sound like the Owl of Faces? And a child mounted on the wall representing the children. I mean, and then here we have the symbols. Tormund is there. Tormund's seen that symbol of North of the Wall. Why are they not talking about this stuff? I guess they got to save that shit for episode 4, right?
Probably so. Or like she said, like Garden Girl said, the horns. We talked about the horns. Yeah.
Yes. I have a whole video on the horn. It's called The Mysterious Horn. If you haven't seen my video. Yeah. What's up with that, man? I want to see the horn.
She's right. Because Sam has it. When Sam got the dragon glass, he got the horn.
He's got that horn.
Okay. So I was a little disappointed that Sam didn't end up with Bran and not being like advisor to him.
Yeah.
They did something, guys, in this episode that blew me away. It was Tyrion that sat with Bran.
Yep.
And guys, of course, Tyrion studied and read books all his life. It would take Sam too long to get caught up. So when Tyrion sat down and asked him his story, and Bran does tell him to say Bran does tell him his story, Tyrion can put all the pieces together. he would be the one that would know more than what Sam would know.
See, I've always thought it would be Sam that would find the key, but I think Sam will contribute, but I think you're right. This episode was all about Tyrion's intelligence.
All about his
all about it. They talked about it the whole episode.
Over and over. Sansa said it, Jorah, everyone said
Danny says it at the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
You know, I need your mind.
Sam is all about being the keeper of the horn, being the writer of the book. I don't know. You know, hopefully he doesn't die. But yeah.
I've never seen Sam dying. In my mind, I've never been able to see Sam being dying. But the way they showed him and Gilly, the baby in the middle, laying in the bed there in that one episode in that one scene near the end, it started to make me go, why are they showing Sam so much? You know what I mean? I don't like it when they show them too much.
Yeah.
Too much character is death.
Talking to Jorah, really sad. I hope we win. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, stop saying that. But yeah. I think it's interesting, though, that Tyrion sat with Bran. Okay, guys, what do you think Bran told Tyrion? What do you think that conversation was to where Tyrion on the next scene, he's getting wasted?
Yep, right after. I mean, it was right. It was like within, I think we had one thing in between, and then all of a sudden they're all sitting there and they're just drinking away. Like, oh my God, I have to have it.
Let's get drunk. Like,
yes, like we're going to die. Again, they said it again. Wouldn't I wish Father was here? If, you know, he would kill him to know that we were about to die defending Winterfell. Again about dying, you know. Tyrion's going to the crypts. I don't think he's dying unless that whole theory happens where, you know, they turn on him in the crypts and all of a sudden they get up and start killing everybody in the crypts. That would be horrible.
Hopefully all my theories are there. It doesn't have to be on that same exact person who I said it, but hopefully it does happen. Somebody gets the dragon glass in the heart and they're like, stab yourself in the heart. Let's become good White Walkers and defeat them. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, Ghost takes off and retreats and go get some of his
Nymeria.
Wolves and horses and whatever.
Go get them and bring them back.
With the children of the forest. Mm-hmm. Where are those girls? Kids, whatever you call them.
I think if there's going to be any more children, they're going to be in the Riverlands at the God's Eye. So there is
the hint of what they're saying they're going, right?
That's what I think. I think that. I know Smokescreen brought that up a long time ago that he thought they're going to the God's Eye. And I have heard that we are going to a new location this season, guys. So I'm really hoping we're going to go to the Riverlands. I'm really hoping we're going to see the God's Eye. If you've never heard of that, it's definitely in the history. Go watch my cave symbols video. If you haven't seen my cave symbols video, you can go check it out. That video explains a lot about where my theory comes from on that. It even shows you that first scene, first episode, first scene of the Game of Thrones. I mean, it would be obvious that they would give us the answer right there. And I really do think that that's where we're going to go. And if you asked about the children, I think that's where the children are. The first pact, Rod said this the other night, that there has to be another pact.
Yeah, because the other one got blown up. The one that made
after they made the White Walkers, then the White Walkers turned again, or after they made the Night King, they turned against the children, and then the children had to make a pact with the first men because they were at war with the first men. But then they created this evilness that was so bad that they needed help defeating it. They defeat their own creation. And so they made a pact with the first men, and somehow, you know, I forget the hero's name. He's the one that supposedly did the knife in the heart of Nissa and somehow defeated or pushed back the Night King to the lands of always winter. There was never a defeating him. So
yeah, but I mean, I think the point proven that dragon glass can be willed of what's in that person's heart when they put Uncle Benjen in there.
Garden Girl's liking what we're saying. She's liking it.
Yeah, she said that needs to happen. What part needs to happen so we can elaborate that one on again?
Yeah.
I got it.
Sorry, there's a little lag when you guys message. We don't see it right away. We see it about 30 seconds later, so we're not always sure. Definitely will be the God's Eye is what I think. Lori agrees. We're going to go to the God's Eye. I'm telling you, the Owl of Faces is in the middle. This right? It's the God's Eye, and the Owl of Faces. They're connected. They're the same thing. Look on the map.
Okay, so Garden Girl asked another question. Do you see it?
She had another question. Go ahead and read it.
She says, do either of you think we will get another flashback? I thought it was interesting that Bran chose to wait at the Wayward Tree. I did too. We talked about that earlier. It was interesting. That's why I'm asking, is he setting them up? Is he setting them up? What's going on with Bran with wanting to wait by the tree? Yeah, maybe that's where he draws his powers. Maybe so. I don't know.
I think so. I think he did, because remember in the past he never could go back and look at anything unless he was at the tree. I don't think that's the case anymore, but I do think he will definitely become more powerful there. And I do think that whatever it is that they need to do to defeat the Night King or to push him back again is going to have to come from some history. It's either going to be in a book, someone is going to find out, Bran's going to go back in the past and see it at the God's Eye and not necessarily go there. But we as the viewers have to go there, okay? Look, I mean...
Yeah. Let's talk about this horn again. I had an idea just now. The horn. What's the significance of the horn if people don't know it? Does anybody know the history and the story of it? I mean, I do. But
I know that there's, from what I understand, there's 3 horns mentioned in the books. There is the horn that Euron has, and that's the one that if you blow it, you can control dragons, but it can kill you when you blow it because it's so powerful or something. Yeah. One person in the books has died. And then there's another horn that Mance Rayder had, or he was searching for it for years. And then he had a horn, but it was a fake horn. It wasn't the real horn. And Tormund eventually tells Jon it's not the real horn because he says that it's supposed to wake sleeping giants or knock down the wall. Okay. And then the third horn that's mentioned in the books, from what I understand again, is that Ghost finds the horn north of the wall. Ghost and Jon tries to blow it, but nothing happens. He ends up giving it to Sam, so Sam has it now. Sam has this horn now.
What if Sam's son is playing around down there and he blows it?
That's a good one. And maybe he blows it, and then that's where the kings rise, right?
Yes.
The last hero, she says. The last hero. Thank you, Lord.
Little Sam was supposed to be given to the. He was supposed to be given up. He was supposed to be sacrificed from the arrangement that they made. And so maybe that's what his purpose of surviving is. You had a theory that maybe he's going to write the books, but I mean, maybe his purpose is he's in there playing around, gets all into the stuff, and he blows that horn. Something's got to happen with the horns.
I think you're right. I'm having some deja vu. It's a little bit freaking me out.
When Sam is in the crypt, yeah.
Did you just have deja vu?
Yeah.
I did too.
Hey, I'm back. Hey, Rod, damn it. I'm glad you're back.
Yes, we're glad you're here with us.
Have a good day at work. Get you a glass of wine or whatever your poison.
I'm going to bring me a glass of wine to the next one live chat. Okay, guys? We're going to play Dina's game. She suggested that we play a game where we ask questions. And if we get the question right, if you get the question wrong, you have to drink or something like that.
I don't know. I might start
It's like we'll have like a series of questions, and they're supposed to ask.
Getting my movies mixed up and start talking about Lord of the Rings.
Wrong answer. Drink some more. So did we get through everything about the Knights of the Round Table? Did we get through all of our notes?
Yeah, we did.
Did we? Did we get through them all?
I just think I think we're right, girls and guys. I think we're right. I think that it's not going to work out. This plan's not going to work out.
This plan.
Said more.
This plan is not going to work out, guys. No. Rod said he's got his beer. Cheers, right? Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think what do you think, Rod? Damn it. We were talking about the Knights of the Round Table and the meeting with Bran and him saying something about he's going to be at the Wayward Tree and he doesn't know if Dragonfire can kill them.
Bullshit.
I think he was very vague on everything.
Yeah, I think it was a Garden Girl that was saying that she agreed with that, with you, I should say, because that was yours that kept insisting that Bran's not telling the whole story, and that's because he can't. Because if he reveals too much, he can change the past or the future or whatever.
But
and
he's giving glimpses, though. He's looking at people. He's glimpsing. I mean, he did that in the trial with Jamie.
He's like, are y'all going to figure it out this time? Are y'all going to figure it out this time on your own? I can't tell you.
Yeah, he can't alter. He can't. And he's learned that. He's learned that by being grabbed by the Night King already.
You notice how he in matter of fact, what supports your theory, even in the last episode, he says to seems like every time it's like, now's the time. He tells Sam, go and tell John now's the time. It's like everything has a time and a place. And he knows he can't tell them that Dragonfire doesn't work because this battle has to go the way it's going to go for whatever reason, right? Yeah. I think Bran can see possible outcomes, and he's freaking afraid to change the one that's going to work.
Yes, I think so too. And well, at least I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's not setting everybody up. I'm hoping he is for the good, and that I don't know.
She agrees, Garden Girl. She agrees. Yep, exactly. Yeah. I think you might be right about that. I think I was not believing it, but me, I have to fight it a little bit before I can believe it. I need some evidence, right? And we're getting some real evidence of that today.
Yeah.
And we're getting some real evidence that Bran is holding back some stuff. Maybe for a good reason.
Simplified version of this book.
Yeah. They have to make a simplified version because the books are so complex. They can't get all that stuff in the show. They've got to make it simpler.
He's Neo. Absolutely. Yeah. So you have to really, God, you got to trust in his visions. And I don't know, it's hard though. Because he says something and then he doesn't say something. And I don't know. I just want to know what Bran and Tyrion talked about.
Right? They're going to show us that later, I'm sure.
And Tyrion's mind, remember, he told Jon at the wall, all I had to do was read books. I heard the stories, he was making fun of it, the ghouls and the gulls, and, he was making fun of that. And then when he went into the dragons, he was telling him, when I was little, I used to read books about you, and you're all I wanted. So the guy's got all these stories in his head, but to him, they were fairy tales. Yeah. Now that it's all coming real, he can put the pieces together. And even the piece that he's Targaryen.
Right. Yeah. Well, I do agree that I do think Tyrion is Targaryen, but I don't think they're going to reveal that in this show. I really don't. I think
there's not enough time.
There's not only is there not enough time to tell that story, but they would take the specialness away of the whole Jon is Targaryen. But I think my theory in my predictions video, I have a theory that HBO is smart enough that they will either make like a movie or a 3-part series, because they do that 3-part series, or something of that nature, that shows us the history of the Lannisters and the Mad King and why Tyrion is Targaryen.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'd love that. It'd be like a little spin-off of, Tyrion's story, right?
Yeah.
Tyrion's story and the history of Tyrion, seeing Tyrion as a baby, just all of it. Just all of it. What a great thing to see, right?
Yeah.
Come on, HBO. I'm ready to direct it. Come on, call me. I'll do the sets. I can build the sets. That's what I do.
Okay, I want to talk about Jorah. Because, y'all, he was so hot in this episode.
Jorah was.
He looked so good.
He was.
Nice.
Super handsome.
Super handsome. Oh, my gosh. They tailored those clothes to fit him so good. And I was just like, are they really going to say goodbye? Is that why they're making him look so good?
Yes. Sorry. This was how about Sam giving Jorah the sword? I knew that. I saw that one coming, but I think a lot of people saw that one coming.
Yeah.
It was definitely Heartsbane. We saw it in the preview. So it was definitely Heartsbane. That's the name of Sam's family sword, is Heartsbane. And is it Heartsbane? I think it's Heartsbane. Sorry if I'm saying that.
Heartsbane, yeah.
I think so. And I knew he was gonna have to have a Valyrian sword. You saw him fighting with a sword in the previews as well, so we knew he was gonna have to have a sword, and I was thinking it's gotta be Sam's, right? So but yeah, I'm sorry, there was a lot of, Dany respect Tyrion. He was like, you need to make good with the North. They're not going to just follow you. He was like, his very like saying his last words. I'm sorry, but I saw a lot of Jorah saying his last words in this episode. Even Little Bear was like, I wish you good fortune, cousin. Oh, yeah, death. Death.
Yes, and her wanting to fight. Oh
She
my
wants to
gosh.
fight. I wish you good
Once
fortune.
again, girl power. The show is about girl power.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do think it was very touching. Garden Girl, and yeah, I can't wait to see what Jorah does. I know we're not going to talk about this till Sunday, but I just want to put it in people's heads. So if y'all want to join us on Sunday, y'all can help us out. Where is Jorah going? He's on the horse. He's got the sword. Where is he going?
Yeah. So if you go back to this episode when they're Knights of the Round Table, right? They're all standing around, and they like show us the map a couple of times.
They show us the map.
I paused it so I could see where everybody's at on the map, right? I'm very visual like that. I need to know where everybody's going to be, right? And you can see every sigil, except there's no bear sigil on the map. So we have no idea where Jorah is at all. Like
even though he's fighting with Sam's
sword,
that wasn't on there either.
No, I don't think so. There was no. I don't. Tali's sigil is a hunter.
Sigil.
He's a hunter. Tali's sigil is a hunter. I'm pretty certain about that. I don't know where he's going to be. I would imagine that he's going to be trying to protect Dany, but I mean, Dany's going to be on dragons.
Wherever the Unsullied are.
Maybe so.
And another glimpses that they were showing, speaking about the war and the Unsullieds and the Dothraki and everybody else and all that stuff. How about the setup? The bridge. Did y'all see the bridge?
Yeah. And Grey Worm, that's 3 top deaths for me, okay? Jaime, Jorah, and Grey Worm.
That was a really big thing there when Jaime's walking to talk to Brienne. What they're showing the bridge.
Mm-hmm. You had said that last night when we were talking about the bridge, and that what you want to tell them what your theory was.
In order for the bridge to work, they were showing how it works. Someone has to pull that rope. Someone has to pull it in order for it to bend in.
Collapse.
So that's what they're showing you. In order for it to do what it's supposed to do, someone's got to pull it. And I think they're going to do this very dramatic thing where Grey Worm has to go pull it, and at that heroic part, and he might die there.
That's when he dies.
Yeah. But yeah, they were showing how things, and you could see it in the map at the beginning of the show where all their strategies. You could see where
the trenches are all around. They look like they're on fire.
Yeah, there's trenches.
The stakes.
Let's see what.
Stakes sticking out of them, right?
Oh, Franny Doodle's back. I haven't heard from her in a while. What does she say? Bear. That was inside the walls of
Winterfell. I didn't see that. Was it? I thought it was a lion. Was that a bear? I thought it was the lion.
Bear sigil.
Maybe it was. I thought it was representing Tyrion, the lion, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was a bear.
Oh.
I could have got that wrong. Because I did see one single block on the inside of the castle.
I think Lyanna Mormont is inside, not sure about Jorah.
That you might be right then.
She was arguing to be out there and fight. She was pointing.
Yeah.
She was really making.
She was. Beric, Jaime, and Tormund are the early deaths I'm gonna hate. Beric, we already said Beric's gonna give the kiss of life. So Beric's on my list. Jaime's on my list because this was just the Jaime's gonna die show. And
but I think Brienne's gonna give him a hint to put the glass through his heart. Because Jaime's too big of a character to die right now. Maybe in season episode 5, 6 he could die.
I think we're gonna see 2 comebacks. I think it's very possible. I'm not sure that it's gonna be Arya, but I know that Quaithe Theories has definitely been looking more and more real. If you haven't seen that theory.
They can set the bridge with the traps and weights, but that's not what they were showing.
Yeah.
They were showing someone pulling it. Hopefully they'll think about that.
I don't think we're going to see Tormund die right away, though. I don't know why I don't see that. I just think he's such a strong fighter, and he's the leader of the wildlings, and it just seems to me like, I don't know, I'm just not ready to see Tormund die.
Well, I think he told his giant story on purpose. I think maybe he's going to befriend a giant. I mean, something's going to happen with him and a giant.
Well, the giants are all the giants are dead except for the ones that are in the army, in Night
That's
King's
what I'm
army.
saying. Something's going to happen. I don't know.
I like to see some
Somebody's
ice
coming
spiders.
after.
I want to see ice spiders. That's what I want to see.
He thought that was Greyjoys inside the walls.
We need to go back and look at that. There's one little brick right in the middle of the castle inside the Winterfell walls, and I thought it was a lion, so I assumed that was them saying Tyrion's in the crypts, right? But maybe it was the little bear and it's her army, and then now they're saying maybe it's was it Rod that said who we thought it was?
It was Greyjoys, yeah.
The Greyjoys. The Greyjoys, they have a different symbol, though. It's definitely not the one I was thinking of, because their symbol, it looks...
I thought the squid.
Yeah, it looks like a squid. It's like a squid. It's kind of like a squid head with the, tentacles like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think I have that sitting right here, matter of fact. Right.
So do you think Bran had enough time to tell Tyrion his story? I know I'm still on it, but I just...
Here it is. Right? Can you see it? You probably can't see it. It's too light, right?
Let me see it.
Trying to turn it where you can see it. You can't see it because it's too yellowy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, obviously it's white paper.
It's because I was making the banners.
Oh, I see a little bit yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was making the banners. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I wonder what Bran did tell Tyrion.
Yeah, what did Bran tell Tyrion? What did he tell? I hope he told him everything.
Okay, so Franny Doodle says Greyjoy's Ironborn.
Yeah, he's right. Yes, he's right. That's right. The Greyjoys are supposed to be in the Godswood. That's why I think Theon might die. Come on, the Night King.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, that's good to hear about the bridge. Hopefully you're right, and they'll have that done right, and it works. I don't know. I don't see anything working.
Right? I see everything going wrong. Everything's gonna go wrong, guys. Come on. This is they're not gonna just win this battle. Come on, they're basing their stuff on Dragonfire. We know that Dragonfire. We saw the Night King walk the Dragonfire north of the Wall.
They're all going to be sitting in the crypts in a circle, just like when War of the Bastards, where they're all in the circle being trapped in. They're all going to be in there. Someone's got to come and save them now.
Laurie says that Jaime is a hero and he's not going to die, and his arc isn't over.
Who? Jaime?
That's what Laurie says. She says Jaime is a hero. He won't die. His arc isn't over. But I think though, Laurie, that your theory, all of your theories around Jaime still support that. Even though he does die, he comes back, right? As like a Benjen.
Yeah. He comes back, and I think it's gonna. I really think this dragon glass and all that, it symbolizes the Bible of the forbidden fruit.
Right.
And they used the forbidden fruit in bad, and it willed bad, and I think when they do it with someone who has a pure heart, it wills good. So I think they're showing Jaime being purified once again, being baptized, being, by Brienne and, all that, It just goes way deep into the Bible.
It does. The guys, this story definitely emulates the Bible. I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff in the Bible here. Did I miss something that you said before I mentioned what Laurie said? Did you say that there was something else that I missed? Because I think you made a comment, then I made a comment right after, and I don't know if you finished your statement.
I think Laurie's right. I think Jaime's got more to do, and I think maybe Jaime's thing is to end it with his sister. Maybe it will be battle of the Lannisters, brother and sister.
Good White Walker against bad White Walker. We talked about that earlier in the video. Is that your theory is that Jaime will he will die, but that the children of the Forest will find him. They will put the dragon glass in his heart and save him like Benjen. It's like, what was Benjen's purpose, guys? What was Benjen's purpose? He had to have some.
Save Jon.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's the whole point. They're repeating storylines just like they did season 1. They're doing again with. Yeah.
Well, and I know he saved Jon, but I guess I'm looking for more, right?
No. Yeah, but it supports what you said too, that they're repeating storylines and basing it like this episode 1 that they just did was very much like the very first one at the beginning. You know, the kid running through the streets,
right?
Being young.
Right.
You know, it's emulating that. I think it's going to be almost the same premises. You know.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. He was good. He was able to help them fight when they were in. And I think that's what Jamie's going to do. Jamie's going to do something really big. I mean,
I agree. If Jamie, look, I don't think they're gonna. I think that we're gonna lose some main characters, but I really think some are gonna come back in different ways. We have all this opportunity between Dragonglass bringing back someone with a good, pure heart, and the kiss of life from Barrick. And I think between those two elements, we're gonna lose like maybe 7 characters, but maybe 2 are gonna come back. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But they may not come back in this episode. They may like leave us like with deaths. And then we're all going to be like, oh, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those characters go on, interviews on different shows and be like, yeah, my character's dead. I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. And then the next episode, they're back alive. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
Did you read Raw Damage, what he says?
I've always thought that Theon dies in front of a werewood, which is where he's going to be with Bran, right? He's got king's blood as well. Could be to save Bran. Could be some old gods magic stuff Theon does in the Godswood, though. I would love to see that. I would love to see. I think that goes back to what you said earlier, Quaithe, that there's a reason that Bran wants to be in the Godswood. There's a reason he wants to be next to that tree.
Yeah, she said the same thing we said. That's very interesting. I can see that happening too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he wants to be by that tree. Yeah.
She said, Lori says, I'm trying to remember what Bran said to Jamie. It was a great quote. Bran said, you mean in this last episode, or you mean it has to be in this last episode? They've never had another conversation. He said, we talked about this actually really, really early. I think before we had any watchers, even we were saying something, or we had only one.
Oh, yeah.
You were saying, he said, why does he say it that way, right? He says, I couldn't let them murder you before. First. We need you in this war. I couldn't let them murder you first.
Yeah, that was weird wording, and I'm trying to put that together. And then he says, what about afterwards?
Things we do for love. Okay, yeah, there's that one too. Yeah, what about afterwards? And he says, how do you know there is an afterwards? I mean, there was just a lot of foreshadowing of Jamie's death. And I don't think that means that we will never see Jamie again. But I do believe we're going to have a couple of characters that we're all going to be shocked that they died, and then they're going to be brought back. I think at least one. We're going to get at least one character back after the death.
I would like to see Tyrion ride a dragon.
I would love to see Tyrion ride a dragon. I'd like to see anybody ride a dragon.
I would like to see for love. Dragon. I mean, I don't know. Maybe take the babies and go off to Iron Islands and save the babies.
Save the babies. You think that if Dany's going to have babies, you think it's going to be twins, or when you say babies, do you mean Cersei and Dany's baby?
Yeah, Cersei. Yeah, because that was another thing in this movie that he asked his brother, "Is she really pregnant?"
Right, in this episode, yeah, she asked.
And he said, "Yeah, she's pregnant." And I'm thinking, I mean,
that's not really a confirmation, though.
I can't believe he left Cersei. I mean, I just cannot believe he left Cersei.
I believe it, though, because he's been very big about his honor. He's been
That's what I loved your point on that. Can you share that with everybody?
Yeah, because they put a lot of emphasis on. There was that book again that Lori told me. She just told us the name of it. The Book of Brothers. The Book of Brothers. In the Book of Brothers, they brought it up at least 2 times in the series, and where he says, there's still time, and he hates that he's viewed as an unhonorable man because he killed the king, but in reality, he knows that he saved thousands of people, and he's really important to him. His honor is really important to him, and the fact that he wants to die with honor. That's important to him. I think that that's pretty obvious at this point, and it doesn't surprise me that he would leave Cersei, because he knows that he gave his word that he was going to go and fight, and he's going to go. He's going to do that, and if that means he dies, at least he'll die with honor, And I think that's why I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised he left her.
Yeah. See, Rod said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie's a golden knight now. After he went back and saved Brienne, he's a different guy now, an honorable man. Yes, and she did that. She
changed that.
Really big, important, and I think that's why her being a knight was so tear-jerking. It was It was because she so deserved that. Because look what she's done. I mean, she really pulled Jamie's out of his heartstrings and really got him to be the person he really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when he went back to Cersei, it was not the same. I think he sees her and felt for her differently. Love, but not as much lust and love as he had before when he pushed Bran out the window.
Yeah. I think, like I said before, I still think that that it's very possible he will die in Brienne's arms, because even though his love for Cersei was a sick kind of love, his love for Brienne is a genuine, respectful type of love. And I could see him. He says that when he first becomes her captive, right? That I want to die in the arms of the woman I love. And I think he will.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
I think he will.
Yeah.
She is the younger, more beautiful woman that took him from Cersei.
It might be saying he's going to die with his sister, because he does still love his sister.
Yeah.
But they're going to kill each other, which would be very poetic.
Which that's your theory, actually, is that right? Is that he will die, and then the children will come and put dragon glass in the heart.
Walker's going to go get himself a bride to take care of all them damn babies he's been taking.
So she'll become the bad White Walker, and Jamie becomes the good White Walker, and then
she becomes the queen. Yeah, I think she's going to somehow die, maybe giving childbirth. I don't know. They're going to come in and do what they did to the dragon. They're going to touch her, and she's going to, eyes will open, her eyes will turn blue, and bam.
She's the bad White.
Can you imagine her with that power?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Extremely scary.
That would be awesome.
Extremely scary, yeah. Extremely scary. It's 10 o'clock, guys.
I think we did pretty good though with our outline.
We did. I've always thought Jamie has to kill Cersei. I've always thought that too. It's the Valonqar theory, right? We kind of talked about that early. I think, Rod, you might have missed that. I think you were at work.
From home to work.
You were either at work or in transit from home to work. We talked about that a lot. Actually, we did. We certainly did. Does anybody else have any questions? It's like where the watching keeps going up, though. It's like I don't want to close down when we got watching people, right? Does anybody else have any other questions that they want to ask, or theories they want to put out there, or just anything at all before we wrap it up? Or is there anything you want to say, Quaithe?
Yeah, I mean, guys, on Sunday, we're going to do something different. We're going to look at the little quick preview they gave us, and we're going to base some theories on that, some guesses, just to have some fun. And then afterwards, we'll watch the show, then afterwards come back, and then we can see, oh my gosh, Raw Dammit called that part, or Lady Firesnow called that. That's awesome. So let's try something like that. Take a look, everybody. Look at that quick preview, and let's see what we can guess, what we think is going to happen. Best based on that. Someone did it earlier when they were saying something about Dany being angry.
Yeah, she's on an anger streak, right? She's on an anger streak. So we're gonna come on 1 hour before the episode airs. Next episode this Sunday, right? 1 hour before. So if you're not sure of time zones, at least you'll know it's 1 hour before the episode airs. We will be here 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we will be here for that hour up until about maybe 10 minutes before the episode starts. And
so it'll be short and quick just to talk about that preview.
He'll kill Cersei. Yeah, Lori agrees that it's supposed to be Jamie to kill Cersei. And Rod says that Arya kills Cersei with Jaime's face. Yeah, I saw that theory. First time I saw that theory was on Bookmaniacs. And I think it's a great one. I do. I think it's a great theory. This was fun. Thanks. Thanks, Garden Girl. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. We really, really... Girl power. We love you all, though. Thank you all for joining us. I mean, tonight. I mean, we really like to interact with you. We really like to answer your questions. I know that's really hard to get live streamers to really hear everybody's questions because there's so many people trying to get their questions answered. So know that if you aren't able to be in the chat and you want to be, all you have to do is make a little channel. You don't have to put anything on your channel, but you just make one. And then that way you can actually be typing in the chat. And we want to answer your questions. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think. Like we said, we're going to be doing live streaming again on Sunday, 1 hour before the episode. We will live stream again about 30 minutes after the episode. We'll start live streaming again. We're going to replay the episode while we watch it. We're going to be talking about it at the same time.
Reactions. Yeah, we like to get everybody's reactions.
We want to get everybody's reactions. We want to hear what you think. We want to hear what you guys think. This was funny. This was fun. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Garden Girl, for joining us. Thanks for coming. Definitely. I think it's like she logged out. So I'm going to get me some dinner too. I'm hungry. I didn't. Next time on Sunday, I'm going to have me a glass of wine. So maybe we'll do the drinking game that Dina suggested. If you guys want to put some questions together, or we can put some questions together and we can all play the game together. And who gets the answer right, whoever doesn't get the answer right has to drink, right? If you don't get the answer right, you have to drink. Maybe we'll put...
God, Rod David is so cute. Listen to his, did you read his comment?
What did he say? Glad you could join us, ladies. Garden Girl and Franny Doodle Gal, welcome to Firesnow family. Welcome to the Firesnow family. I like that. I like that. I'm going to start a whole nother group of things that I'm going to be doing on my channel after the Game of Thrones ends. So this year is not going to be quite a year for me. I'm really going to focus a lot on possibly I'm going to do one on that's called Cooking with John. If anybody knows, John is an excellent cook. And we've talked a lot about cooking with John, and I really want to do it. So that's one of the big things I really want to do. But I may do some more videos on other shows as well. I've thought about doing that too. So
yeah, his first recipe is shepherd's pie.
No. Rod says a drinking game would be fun. Let's do it. Let's do a drinking game. Maybe Quaithe, you and I, let's get together and let's talk about questions. And if you guys have questions you want to ask too, see if you can stump us. You know what I mean? And then we'll ask you guys questions, see if we can stump you. Everybody has to bring their glass of wine or their beer, okay? Sunday.
Oh my gosh, did you see what Rod said? I cook for a living.
I'd be down. Awesome. Awesome. I don't know where you're from, Rod, but we are Texans. And so we're all about the crawfish. My husband makes the best crawfish. I never even ate crawfish until like my husband's crawfish. And it is really, really good. It ruins it. Anybody who eats it ruins it. And we are in crawfish season now. So I'm really hoping maybe one of my first episodes might be for crawfish. Yeah. I'll see about getting a little list together. Great. Get a list of questions together that you see if you can stump us, if we can remember, you know, the answer to that question. Like, what did so-and-so say when this? Or do you remember any question, anything you can think of that you think you might stump us, right? Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be lots of fun.
I'm going to get wasted. I already know it.
Yeah. That's all right.
If I start talking about Lord of the Rings.
Don't get them confused, Quaithe. Good night, Lori. Thank you for joining us, Lori. Good night. Have a good evening. Good night. Oh, ladies, meat and taters and everything in between. Everything in between. Awesome. All right, guys. So, Quaithe, you want to say goodbye? You have anything you want to say say goodbye?
I do. Yeah. Thanks, guys. This was great. I can't wait for Sunday. I have a lot of ideas and theories about what that preview is. So, can't wait to share them with you guys. And Lady Firesnow, I'll go get you something to eat.
I know. I'm going to go get me some dinner. All right. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm gonna say, let's see. I actually used one of my phrases earlier. Let me see if I can remember it. Well, I'll just say another one. How about Vozes vantas amazis? Winter is coming. Have a great night.